This is Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. It's 10 o'clock. Your headlines. Strikes on Gaza. Israel targets the elite Hamas forces. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows for all their fighters to become killed. Israel prepares for a possible ground assault as the people of Gaza are told power supplies will not be restored until hostages are returned. On the ground, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in the region for talks after President Biden called for the rules of war to be followed. Israel says it's identified 97 people who are being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza. In other news, the world-famous Sycamore Gap tree is to be removed from Hadrian's Wall 2 weeks after it was chopped down. And the daughter of Captain Tom says he wanted her to keep book profits, despite readers being told they were going to charity. A very good morning to you. Israel says it's carried out airstrikes on the elite forces of Hamas overnight as the country's prime minister vowed to make every member of the organization a dead man. Large numbers of Israeli troops are once again gathering near the border with Gaza, where inside the fence, power, food and water supplies all remain shut down. Well, this morning, the Israel energy minister warned they'll not be reconnected until hostages taken by Hamas at the weekend are freed. Well, here are the key developments so far this morning. More than 1,200 people have been killed in Gaza since Israel launched its airstrikes, with 338,000 people displaced. At least 1,200 people in Israel died during the weekend attacks by Hamas. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Israel to meet Israeli officials. He's then expected to travel to the Jordanian capital Amman to meet the Palestinian President Mohammed Abbas, a rival of Hamas in Gaza. The Egyptian government has rejected any proposal to establish corridors out of Gaza for Palestinians fleeing Israel's bombardment in Gaza, according to a senior Egyptian official. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu has accused Hamas fighters of beheading and raping women during their attack. He's vowed to crush and destroy them.
We are fighting with all our strength, on all fronts. We went on the offensive. Every Hamas member is a dead man. Hamas is ISIS, and it will be crushed and eliminated, just as the world crushed and eliminated ISIS.
In the last hour, the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, has spoken as well, saying his country will do whatever it takes to defend its people.
Many resources are invested in gathering intelligence, in trying to locate the enemy separately from civilian population, in evacuating the civilian population from the center of the battle, in warning citizens, in monitoring humanitarian situation. But Israel will defend its people and do whatever it takes with an iron fist to change the reality.
America's top diplomat, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, has arrived in Tel Aviv this morning for talks with the Israeli Prime Minister. He'll meet Benjamin Netanyahu later today, where he will discuss the current situation. Mr. Blinken's also expected to meet with Palestinian President Mohammed Abbas, as we just mentioned, on Friday. His visit follows remarks from President Biden overnight, urging Israel to operate by the rules of war. Well, coming up this morning, we are expecting a joint news conference hosted by Antony Blinken and Benjamin Netanyahu. That's expected 11:20 UK time this morning. We will, of course, bring you that live. Well, Sky News teams have been filming inside Gaza, capturing the increasingly desperate situation as calls grow for a humanitarian corridor to get people out safely. Sky's international correspondent John Sparks reports for us, and a warning: his story contains distressing images of injured civilians, including children.
The Israelis say they'll do whatever it takes to destroy the militants of Hamas. And on the streets of Gaza, whatever it takes sounds like this. During previous conflicts, Israel struck at individual targets. But this time they've leveled entire neighborhoods. And on a strip of land that's home to more than 2 million civilians, hundreds of thousands have been displaced. Here, residents return during a lull in the bombing, looking for food, looking for clothes, or looking for their building. Only God will help us, said this woman. A mother of two, she had lost the family home and everything in it. It was difficult to take it all in.
I hope God will guide their souls and they'll see what they've destroyed. Where are we going to stay? In the streets? My husband is broken. Will we live in the streets?
Residents in this district say they've got nowhere to go. And it seems that nowhere is safe in Gaza. This is Al-Shifa, the territory's central hospital, where they've treated nearly 5,000 patients in the past 4 days. This 10-year-old girl was hit by shrapnel from a blast. Her brother lies under a tent on the hospital forecourt. Al-Shifa ran out of beds days ago. Our team meets Hassan Abu Sita, a surgeon from London. He volunteers some of his time at the hospital, and they need him now. Oh dear, how old is she? He says. She's not in preschool yet, says the girl's brother. Meaning 3, 4 years old? Asked the doctor.
The ferocity of the attack, the number of patients, the children that are brought in with crush injuries from collapsed buildings or shrapnel or debris. There needs to be a stop to the bombing, and there needs to be a humanitarian corridor.
A doctor's qualification offers no protection. The staff room rocked by an Israeli strike.
It's just too unsafe to move outside. The bombing is all around the hospital. The buildings shake every few minutes with all of the shelling that's going on around us.
The Gaza Strip is under siege. There's no more fuel to run the power station. But Hamas continues to fight. Once again, its residents find themselves caught in the middle. John Sparks, Sky News.
Well, our international correspondent Alex Rossi able to join us live now from Tyre in southern Lebanon. And Alex, of course, one of the reasons for the presence of the US Gerald R4 carrier group in the region, and of course for Antony Blinken's visit today, is to try and deter others in the region from joining sides in this fight. And no doubt, therefore, all eyes will be on Blinken's comments today from where you are.
Yeah, I mean, Israel is involved in one of the most serious crises in its history. And the fear is, as you're saying, that another front could open up here on the Lebanon border with northern Israel. Now, Hezbollah is the big actor here. It's a Shiite paramilitary group deemed terrorist by much of the world. Now, it's my understanding that through back channels, the Americans have sent messages to Iran that if Hezbollah does get involved, they too could get involved as well. And you can see the military posture here in the eastern Mediterranean, sending battleships here to theatre. The problem is that there is grave room for miscalculation, even if nobody does want it to escalate. Think back to the last war in 2006. Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, launched a limited operation across the border. 8 Israelis were killed, 2 were kidnapped, and he thought it fell within the rules of engagement, but was surprised by the ferocious response from the Israelis. A 34-day war ensued, which was enormously destructive. The other thing to bear in mind, of course, is that the rules of engagement have changed dramatically. Hamas has rewritten them in southern Israel with its massacre of Israeli soldiers and civilians. Nobody really knows up here what the rules of engagement are either. We have seen in the last few days IDF soldiers have been killed on the border as have Hezbollah fighters. There have been cross-border skirmishes, and the fear is, of course, that there could be a miscalculation, and that could lead to a major escalation, which leads down the path to full-scale war.
It will be interesting as well, I guess, linked to this, what is said about Iran during any press conference between Blinken and Netanyahu. Everyone has been very, very careful not to say anything explicit, but there was a comment that came out yesterday from Jake Sullivan that suggested Iran was complicit due to funding of Hamas down the years. And there are a lot of moving parts and potentially very controversial topics for Antony Blinken to address today.
Yeah, there are, and it will be very interesting to see how that develops. It falls really into two categories. There seems to be at the moment a distinction that the Israelis and the Americans are making when it comes to Iran and their support of Hamas, and also to Hezbollah as well. It provides huge amounts of money and weapons to both groups. Now, the distinction is it just support that it's been giving on for many years, or was it actually involved in the planning more directly with what we saw on Saturday? If that is the case, that may force the hand of the Israelis, and you may see a greater response than you're seeing now just in Gaza. The mood music coming out of Washington is that there is not that smoking gun, but that doesn't mean to say that a link won't be established. So that is certainly something that they will be talking about, but it could also move things in a very worrying direction if they do establish direct complicity of the Iranians in that massacre in southern Israel.
Alex, thanks so much for that for us this morning live in Lebanon. Well, in the last hour, the family of a young woman who was kidnapped at the music festival, which was stormed by Hamas at the weekend, have shared a message online to mark her 26th birthday. You may remember Noah from this footage, which went viral last week or earlier in the week, of her begging for her life as she was taken hostage by Hamas militants. Well, here's what the post on social media says. This beautiful woman is named Noah. She was taken hostage by Hamas during a music festival. Today is her 26th birthday. Her parents asked that we all wish her a happy birthday with the hope that maybe somehow these messages will reach her. Much more on the situation in the Middle East, of course, throughout the day here on Sky News. But time for some other news now. Well, the UK economy has seen a return to growth after a small slump earlier this year. In August, the UK's gross domestic product, or GDP, was up by 0.2%. But the Office for National Statistics revised down GDP in July, the month before, to 0.6%, down from where it was previously thought to be 0.5%. The small boost in August was largely down to services, which grew by 0.4%. But during the same period, production fell 0.7%. Manufacturing areas like construction were down for the month. All eyes will be on the current month and September. We're into October now, aren't we? Whether September will be strong enough to avoid the entire quarter, the third quarter, from being a decline. We shall see. Now, judges have reportedly been told not to send some convicted criminals to jail over concerns the prison system is nearly full. Well, this morning, the Justice Department has not disputed reports that those spared could include rapists and burglars. In England and Wales, there are currently just over 88,000 people in prison. According to the government's own projections, that number is expected to rise to 89,100 next month. But there's only capacity to hold a total of 88,667 prisoners, which of course means there is a shortfall of 433 spaces. This morning, the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, told Sky News that Justice Secretary Alex Chalk would make a statement to Parliament on Monday, and he wouldn't comment more on the leaks.
The Lord Chancellor will make a statement to Parliament on Monday. Ministers don't comment on leaks. What I'm very clear on is we are building more prison places, over 100 a week, 5,500, the fastest expansion of the prison estate for 100 years. And we're also taking a much tougher line in terms of the early release of prisoners. So decisions on sentencing are taken by the judiciary. That's an independent matter for them. We are building more prison places.
So
we're holding people for sentencing decisions, and how they prioritise who they sentence are decisions that the judiciary take.
Captain Sir Tom Moore's daughter has admitted keeping £800,000 from 3 books he wrote before he died, despite the prologue of one of them saying the money would go to charity in his name. Hannah Ingram Moore told Talk TV that her father, who raised £38 million for the NHS at the height of the pandemic, wanted the family to keep the profits. The Sycamore Gap tree is set to be removed from Hadrian's Wall. A crane will be used to remove the 50-foot tree, which was chopped down 2 weeks ago and saw 2 people arrested in connection with the felling. Our correspondent, Shingi Maririki, joins us now from Northumberland National Park. And Shingi, what is the latest that you can tell us this morning in terms of what exactly is happening?
Well, Wilfred, we've been waiting all morning, but I can tell you the operation to move the Sycamore Gap tree is now underway. So behind me, you can see them getting ready to chainsaw the stump. That had just started in the last 10 minutes or so. And then further away on the path, the actual crane which will be moving the tree is on its way down here. We understand it's come up from Manchester as part of a huge logistical operation to move this 50-foot tree. And we were talking to the site manager for the National Trust earlier about just what that entails. And he was saying that it will actually take longer for them to assess the situation and figure out how to get it onto the crane than it will to then take the tree away. And that's because they want to preserve this historic site of Hadrian's Wall, which is obviously thousands of years old, and make sure that they don't cause any damage to that. And there's a lot of movement, a lot of activity around here, lots of camera crews as well here to catch a glimpse of this historic tree being moved away. And we understand that it's going to be cut into various pieces, which then will be, the National Trust will then decide how they are used. But they've had thousands of people write to them with suggestions, which just gives you a sense as to how revered this tree is. That when it was felled 2 weeks ago, people from all over the world were talking about their memories, be it scattering ashes here or proposals here. The tree's meant a lot to so many people, and this moment is the beginning of, or I suppose will be the next stage of the tree's life, with lots of people writing in and lots of people suggesting what should be done with it.
Shingi, thanks so much for that. Shingi Maririki there for us in Northumberland. You're watching Sky News Today. Lots more still to come. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in Israel, due to speak this morning. Next hour, we'll bring you that live. We'll also take a closer look at the humanitarian situation in Gaza as the enclave runs out of power and other supplies also running low. But up next, military analyst Sean Bell will be here to assess what a ground invasion of Gaza would be like. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
There is an invasion taking place across Ukraine. How long this will go on, nobody knows.
You can hear substantial shelling and rocket fire. There are civilians at the end of that.
It's a big fight. We might even be on the front line.
How are you feeling?
Strong. We run looking for cover. We just can't believe we're alive.
We'll fight Russia in the forests, the fields and shores of this land.
This is an absolutely incredible scene. There are dozens of people like this.
I'm Helen Ann Smith. I'm Sky's Asia correspondent, and I'm based here in Beijing. My most memorable story was covering the extreme zero COVID restrictions.
A massive COVID wave is sweeping this city, but officially, almost no one has died.
This is essentially the epicenter of the epicenter. It's the Haiju district. The message from China is clear. This is a modernized military, absolutely able to fight an international war if needed.
This is a routine exercise. It's defensive in nature.
My biggest challenge is adequately telling the stories of the Chinese people, even when the authorities would prefer me not to.
Hey.
By the rules, we are allowed to film in the streets.
To the left.
I will always remember the atmosphere at the Shanghai protests. It was an electric mix of excitement, fear, and defiance, and a sense that history was being made. It's hard to express just how incredibly unusual these scenes are in China.
There are people who are afraid.
On the streets of Xinjiang, there is still a tension. Heavy police, a sense they're always watching.
It's really an incredible eeriness to this place, and it just is completely abandoned. The Chinese housing market, for so long a driver of growth, is now a real liability. We take you to the heart of the stories that shape our world.
It's actually hard to describe the cold here. It's so intense. It literally takes your breath away.
I can't tell if I'm moving it or it's moving me, but it's a very strange feeling.
The world is watching what's happening here.
Welcome back. We have some breaking news relating to the Israel-Hamas war, ongoing fighting. And it's been reported that Israeli settlers have killed 2 Palestinians in the West Bank. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. And just scrolling through some of this release, witnesses have told Reuters that the father and son were shot when settlers opened fire at the funeral of 4 Palestinians who were killed by armed settlers and Israeli soldiers near the northern city of Nablus on Wednesday. So that report coming, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, Israeli settlers have killed 2 Palestinians in the West Bank. Now that breaking news comes as Israel says it's carried out airstrikes on the elite force of Hamas in Gaza overnight. The strip is currently without electricity, food or water supplies. And Israeli military say it is preparing for a possible ground operation. Let's discuss that possible ground operation with military analyst Sean Bell. Sean, great to see you as always. So what is happening with this potential ground invasion, and why do we think it hasn't started yet?
Well, from a purely military perspective, it's very difficult to see what the objectives will be of this ground offensive. It will be fraught with danger. Fully understand why Israel would want to look as if it's going to launch one. But I'm sure there's a lot of thinking behind the scenes as to actually what the risks are involved. Now, the armour's massing at the moment, but armour will not be effective in an urban environment anyway. And it's worth looking at maps. The Gaza Strip is obviously a bit of land. For many, would just think it's packed full of 2.3 million people. But actually, if we look at the density maps, obviously that the white is where the population density is. Why is that important? Because if we now transpose that onto a satellite map, we can actually see that there's a lot of green areas around there. Now, those green areas would be ripe for armour to move into. So my point being is that there is a middle ground here where armour could roll across the border, could actually close in on the urban environments, which would threaten Hamas, would increase the level of intimidation, but potentially without actually going into the urban environment itself. But again, all of this is speculation at this time. But undoubtedly, if I was a military commander, I'd be urging a lot of caution, because once you actually commit to the urban environment, it could be extremely dangerous.
Really, really interesting, Sean. And what do you think they've been doing over the last couple of days, Israel, in terms of preparing for whatever option they might take?
There's a lot of deja vu here. It's a bit like the air campaign before the Gulf conflict, preparing the ground ready for a possible offensive. Now, their clear objective, the IDF has said that it's to remove Hamas. Now, the initiative has been focused on the infrastructure. We've seen hundreds of buildings that have been collapsed. And there's been some interesting before and after pictures, which I think this is a before area of the Gaza Strip. And if you look at afterwards now, geolocated, a lot of the area has just been flattened. I mean, this is not surgical strike. This is, obliterating huge areas. What the IDF will now be doing, though, is coordinating intelligence, communications, satellite imagery, getting the allies to help to try and track down where these IDF cells are, what is still existing at the moment. If they are in the urban environment and the IDF decide to go there, they won't be able to use tanks in there. Hamas allegedly will have anti-tank missiles, so almost certainly it's going to have to be infantry. And infantry is just incredibly dangerous. Every corner, every window, every door will have Hamas behind it. And if you remember in Bakhmut, when the fight for Bakhmut, Russian soldiers, they took 30,000 deaths and there was nothing left behind them when they went through. So it's very difficult to see how that sort of operation could ever be a success. And besides, Hamas, you can take out their infrastructure, but the fighters themselves will just blend in to the city of 2.3 million people. They won't be wearing uniform. And you can't destroy an ideology. So it's quite difficult to see how Hamas will actually be. And once IDF has got into the middle of Gaza, what do they do next? How do they withdraw? They can't possibly run it. So there are loads of questions, I suspect, that are vexing the IDF and the Israeli leadership at the moment.
Well, certainly the long-term question is incredibly puzzling. Again, what is the military objective, do you think, in the short term of Hamas?
That's the one thing that I'm always looking at, is what the objectives of both sides. If Hamas was to start this particular phase, because it was a very well laid plan, they overwhelmed the Iron Dome system, they did manage to effectively take a load of hostages as well, and they must have known that once this attack had been completed, what the IDF would do in response. So you have to assume that Hamas will be ready for this next phase. Now, from a military perspective, it is not war. This is, you saw the actions of Hamas. That's this visceral hatred. That's not wars. In the Second World War, Germans and British soldiers played football across the front line with each other. That's not going to happen here. This is a completely different sense at all. So if it's not a military solution, it has to be a political solution. So the answer for me as to why is that actually, if you look at this for the last few decades, gradually the countries around Israel have gradually been normalising relationships with it. So Egypt in 94, Jordan in 82, and now there was a lot of talk about Saudi Arabia normalising relationships. The one country that benefits by stopping that is Iran. And without any form of hard intelligence from a military perspective, all the lines follow to the dark hand of Iran on all of this, because they're the ones who would stand to benefit most by Israel being plunged back into war and stopping normalisation of relationships.
But also, to be clear, you're not suggesting any hard evidence that implicitly we know that?
No, not at all. I was purely looking at, why Hamas, because they would have known what's going to happen next. So why did they do it? The only logical explanation is this disrupts a process which favours Iran.
Sean, thanks so much. Sean Bell there. For us, we do have another bit of breaking news that relates to all of this. The International Committee of the Red Cross, in fact, we're going to be speaking to in about 5 minutes' time, 10:30, 10 minutes' time, have said that with the supplies we have inside Gaza, we'll not be able to maintain the civilian population for very long. So interesting that has crossed just moments ago. And as I said, we will be speaking to the International Committee of the Red Cross in just a few minutes. But first, let's have a quick look at the weather here back in the UK. Well, the rest of the week will be cooler than recently, turning cold for the weekend with overnight frosts in places. Southern parts will be dull and damp this afternoon with fog on coasts and hills, especially in the southwest. Meanwhile, northern and central areas will be mainly dry with sunny spells, but the windy northwest of Scotland can expect showers. Southwest England will turn wet later, and Shetland will see more general rain, but elsewhere there'll be little change into the evening. Heavy rain will spread across most of England, Wales and southern and eastern parts of Ireland tonight, while the northwest will stay showery. It'll be mild in the humid south, where the wind will pick up. England and Wales will see further spells of heavy rain tomorrow, with thundery downpours possible in the south, but Ireland, the north and west there, will bring brighter sunshine later on. Elsewhere, there'll be sunny spells and blustery showers. It'll turn quite warm in the south again. Cool elsewhere and windy for most. That's your weather. You are watching Sky News Today. Still to come, that dire warning about the situation inside Gaza. We'll speak to the International Committee of the Red Cross. That's next.
Going to need a big screen. Fly Emirates, fly better.
From the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Are you ready to turn it up?
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same for now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great is to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Cause I celebrate.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dawn fade, and that's what makes you great.
You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God.
One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign.
That's why forever call you great. Great are you.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planet as well. Want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of the morning show. It's been quite a busy morning here in the studios because we were having a lot of discussions about all sorts that is going on behind the scenes. So you know that when we come on, it's not just like one man just bringing his own thoughts about issues that is going on across the globe, but it's something that we've all looked into, and then we can bring about our own or spin it the way that we want to, and that is why we love to be with you. But wherever you are, let me say welcome, welcome, welcome. Bishop Adesina, good morning to you. My able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, good morning to you. Angela Dineji, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Sir Maxwell, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi and Pastor Mo, good morning to you. And let me say good morning to Olayomi Koiki. Yesterday he wasn't able to come your way with the Niger voices. Yes, as I told you, we are working on bringing the chief himself, Chief Doctor Sunday Igboho. I mean, sometimes where he is, we were just trying to get him to now cool down, settle down nicely, and then we can bring him your way. But it's now what time? 4 minutes to 11, and we are pressed with time. Default position. But I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
Archie.
you the quote for the day, and then I'll bring you the weather forecast, the travel updates. We'll move on very swiftly and bring you what is happening across the globe, known as Global Trotting. At 11 o'clock, we'll be bringing you updates from Nigeria. Hopefully, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki. If not, whatever is put across, we'll be bringing that your way. But you know what? You can do me some good there by sharing with me what is happening on the ground. Though I'll be bringing you everything that you need to know. So all of you on the sister broadcast platforms and everything, I salute you all, and your reactions and your contribution will be greatly appreciated. Now playing the background, Edith Morrison, Great Are You, Lord. What makes you great? Okay. Now, after that, at 11 o'clock, the update from Nigeria. We'll move on to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. And exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add a voice to the discussions. The program continues till 12:30 when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So wherever you are, welcome to the show. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me.
Your character is your positive and distinctive quality that will connect you to the rest of the world. Your character is your positive and distinctive quality that will connect you to the rest of the world. What are people seeing, or how are people portraying you? It is Starr Radio UK.
You will never change.
Okay, let's crack on. Let's move on straight to other stories making the rounds, and that issues that we want to be looking at, and that is the weather. So when it comes to the weather front this morning for London and the southeast of England, I was coming through, and there was that weather phenomenon and a bit of drizzly and stuff. But this afternoon is better to be rather dull and damp with overcast skies. There will be the odd spot of light rain or drizzle where the cloud is thick enough. And tonight will be cloudy with a few light patches that we're going to be seeing as well. Rain or drizzle at first. Heavy and persistent rain will then move in from the west in the early hours along with strengthening winds. Top temperature is going to be 17 degrees, the lowest is going to be 15 degrees. UV level is going to be low and pollution is going to be low. Sunset 18:15 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:19 hours.
All of you men.
And let me say good morning to Shamsuddin. Hey, man, how are you doing? He says, good morning, sir. God bless Yoruba Nation. He said, we want Yoruba Nation, and God bless you, sir, and God bless you too. Okay. Now let's move on straight to the travel updates as well. Let me tell you what is happening on your travels if you are here in London. Well, or the UK to be specific. Now, for those of you traveling on the major roads in London, Central London Red Route is a no-go area because it's got serious delays. If you can avoid it, do your best to do so. That aside, all the others have got good service. Now, when it comes to the underground as well, Bakerloo Line, Metropolitan Line, and Piccadilly Line have got severe, minor, and part suspension respectively. So please check before you leave. That aside, all the other underground lines are running a very good service. The London Tram Link has also got minor delays, so please check before you leave. On the river bus, still the Woolwich Road has got reduced service. That aside, all the others are running a very good service there. And then we come to the London Cable Car that has got a good service there as well. Starr Radio UK. To the final segment of the travel updates, and Avanti West Coast cross country, First Haul Trains, Great Central, London North Eastern Railway, Lumo, and Southwestern Railways have all got minor delays. Also, First Transparent Express, Northern Rail and ScotRail has got special service, but Great Northern has got severe delays. If you can avoid all those, so do your best to avoid that. But I promise you one thing for sure, as the program goes on, as and when I have any or there are any changes, I promise you I'm going to bring you to the fore. But wherever you are, once again, let me put it this way. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactement, as I will put it, exactement. Yeah. Bringing the time now to 11:01. So wherever you are, don't tap the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir. My image, and it's up there now. So let's look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. When it comes to Nigeria, this is what we're going to be looking at, or this is what we're going to be seeing. Of course, when we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki on, he'll be bringing us more on that front. But he's working on some issues, as I did say, it's very, very important. And once we are all said and done, I promise you one thing for sure: for you only, we'll bring you Chief Sunday Igbo. Now, not today. I'll bring you the notice, okay? But keep your diaries opened. Naira breaks record, falls to the lowest level in history against US dollar at black market. And I remember Bishop Adesina talking about the fact that, well, we've not seen nothing yet. Now, worse off situation is going to happen. But we know, they say, as we say, there's a new sheriff in town doing all sorts. So what is going to happen there? We're going to be following it very closely. Now, Tinubu certificate saga. Stop insulting Nigerians. Igbo group slams Peter Obi. Oh, man. Yesterday, I was having a chat with a friend of mine, a Nigerian as well. Very learned person. And he was talking about the fact that what is happening doesn't speak well for the country, because if your own leader is sort of said to have a certificate that is a forged one, then what about the ordinary person? So is that a tendency? So it doesn't give a good name or reputation to the country. But I don't know what you think about that. Someone will say, well, they should leave it. But the thing is, it's not the fact that he is not intelligent. That's not what we're talking about. The fact that he's involved in some sort of perjury is a situation. But let me know what you think about it. Let me know. If you think that you're Nigerian, you feel proud and think that, if I'm applying for a job now, nobody's going to question the authenticity of my certificate and stuff like that, fine, that is okay. But if not, let us know what you think and how you think it's going to be impacting you. Okay. Now, list of Labour Party chieftain at Peter Obi's press conference in Abuja, and you lack power to ban mining activities in your state. Alake tells governors. That's quite an interesting one. We will be looking into that. And court convicts 2 men for killing DSS operative in Ikorodu. I bet some people will be rejoicing about that. Politicians corner 70% recruitment into tertiary institutions. Boy, oh boy. But somebody will say that whatever they are doing, they are, if they are enrolling people, they are enrolling people from the community as well. So it comes back to the same thing. But when it happens at 70%, so let's say Lagos University, okay, and then they're going to admit the admission they have, let's say we just cited an example, 1,000 first students, okay, and ministers or government officials have got 70%. That means they are bringing 700. So the rest of you who have not got any connection with any politician or anything of the sort, it's only 300 places for you, and that's good enough. But as I was saying, we know the influence that some of these ministers have. Maybe somebody has not even got what it takes, not got the requisite grades to enter that university, but because of political influence, they are able to just roll them in. What do you think about that? It's quite an interesting one. Obasanjo to African leaders: find homegrown solutions to continent problems. Well, true or false? So like we just like run into the west quickly or to the east, whichever is applicable, and they say, yeah, give us that, and then they come out and say, yeah, these are the policies, this is what you need to do, but you are on the ground. Well, so when they come up with all these figures saying that, you know what, well, we think that your GDP is that, and they give you all the estimation, but you go to the corner, the woman selling kose or akara, or selling the cocoa, or selling the bread, that woman, that local, that person, her economy, how is it impacted, or was it captured in whatever data that they used to arrive at that? So that is why I seem to agree with Obasanjo there. Maybe somebody will say, well, when he was in the place, why didn't he do that? But I mean, hindsight is quite interesting, and he might have learned from his mistakes there. But listeners, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Lots more going to be coming your way from Nigeria, so stay tuned and don't touch that dial at all. All right, now let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds on the African continent as well. Gabon, wife of deposed President Ali Bongo, has been jailed. Her French lawyer Francois Zimere confirmed this Wednesday and denouncing the hearing where she was convicted as an illegal and arbitrary. Well, we'll be bringing you more on that front. Well, Angola International Jazz Festival holds second edition, a good one there. And DRC, 8 UN peacekeepers arrested for sexual exploitation. One officer has been suspended as well. And Egypt moves to prevent mass exodus from Gaza. Now, it's quite a difficult situation there. Why are they not allowing people to come from Gaza? So they just stopped them there. I thought maybe they will open the borders for them for humanitarian reasons. Maybe check in those who you think that they are Hamas, I mean, who are like the terrorists, you can stop them. And then let ordinary people, children, old people, I mean, to be able to cross and come to that part, because the siege, how Israel has besieged that city is like biblical times. Yeah, where Samaria was besieged and nobody could go in or come out. That seems to be what has happened there. Okay, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 8 minutes past the top of the hour, the time, the morning show, the program. I am Archie. Okay, the Akufo-Addo, I knew it's not the one who is president now. Who is speaking? Has it metamorphosed? That is Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and I'll be telling you more about that. The youth can't be satisfied when appointees are stashing money in their homes. That's what Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is saying. And police officer killed, another injured in a shootout with robbers. Those are one of the stories making the rounds there as well. Attorney General should admit he made a mistake on Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. That's what Kwebu is saying. Who is Kwebu? I'll be telling you more about that when we look at some of the stories coming from Ghana as well. But it is Starr Radio UK. So moving on. Trying to bring you some more stories making the rounds in Ghana. Galamsey case. Aisha Wang faces judgment on December 4. Why all these pull and push and all that shoving that seems to be going on? Why all that? Okay, and please have withdrawn moot Occupy Bank of Ghana demo injunction. Okay, so what is going to happen now? What? A lot more going to be coming your way from there. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. NPP polls, please meet election committee reps of flag bearer hopefuls. And we'll tell you more about that. NPP wants illegal closure of UTV. That's what the NDC are saying. Well, why should they be shut down? Because your people invaded the place? That is not on, is it? Okay, let's move on to other parts of the world. Let's see what is happening there as well. Well, breaking news coming through. MP Lisa Cameron has defected to the Conservative Party from the SNP, blaming toxic culture in the party's Westminster group. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, when people do that at times, is it not for financial expediency or personal economy? But I'll tell you, someone will tell you that in this part of the world, it doesn't work that way. But let's see how she's going to be welcomed there. Well, she has one majority, extra majority to the but what if they call for snap election there? Because they will say that, well, you have to vacate your seat. You are no more SNP representative there. If you want to go for a by-election, what is going to happen there is what coming away from Starr Radio UK. Israel says no electricity, water or fuel for Gaza until hostages are free. So that's the conditions that they've given for the freedom of the hostages. And is Hamas going to hearken to that at all? He said that is the only way they're going to be releasing or getting them water, power, and food. Okay. Benny Eccleston pleads guilty to fraud. The former F1 boss admits failing to declare more than 400 million of overseas assets. So what happens to him? Is some of his assets going to be confiscated? Oh, what? Okay. Still Starr Radio UK. Every Hamas member is a dead man, says Netanyahu. It comes after the first meeting of Israel's emergency government formed on Wednesday. And while Republican Steve Scalise is not U.S. Speaker yet, he won a secret vote to be the Republican pick, but now he needs majority support of the full House. Will he get it? Let's see what's going to happen. Bitter campaign split Poland ahead of key election. It's seen as the most important vote since communism ended in 1989. What direction will Poland take? Some of the stories making the rounds this morning. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Never start vaping, says girl with lung damage. Sarah had asthma and was a heavy vapor when she was rushed to hospital with breathing problems. The other time I was in the town center looking about, and then there was this young girl standing in a corner just in front of a shop. And I think I was driving by or something, and then they were vaping. I look at their ages, and I think these ones are just maybe is it 10? No, call it. Maybe let me give it to them. Let me give it to them. About maybe up to 12 or top will be about 13 years. And they were vaping. I thought, how did they come by? How did they get it? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. NHS waiting list in England rises to a record 7.75 million. Data shows August was a very busy month for hospitals and ambulance services. The final one, summer. I won't build homes without GPs and schools. The Labour leader says new development need infrastructure as he defends his house building plans. Well, how is are the Conservatives going to react to that? Or how is the Conservative Party going to react to the statement that has been made and the Prime Minister and all those in his camp? Well, more are going to be coming away from there. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. So now I think we got to write the names of talkatives and then we can go on. So I will shush for a bit and then we will move on to look at some of the stories making around us. Enjoy this. As they say, Yomi is not going to be joining us. It's information that has come through. So I'm going to be bringing you that. Stay tuned.
Like my favorite song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them, say, I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, let them when he comes.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife. Cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, cause there are talkatives here, they're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing
names of talkatives. All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes.
As for me,
I have a race.
no time to wait.
No time to
This is
waste.
Starr Radio UK.
I'm writing names of
1, 2,
talkatives.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All of this noise you're making on me.
4, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Teacher
19,
will
20.
get you when he comes. I have a race. No time to waste.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
Can we talk? Call him, says.
All right then, so let us talk now. Let us talk now. He said, can we talk? And yes, I'm ready to talk now wherever you are. Starr Radio UK. And I want to hear from you as well. Let's now go to look at some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria with updates from Nigeria. As I did say, Yomi is working on some issues that we need to deal with. And I'll ask him when he's done. We will be bringing you all that. So wherever you are, don't you go away. Don't you go away at all. But now let's quickly move on to some of the stories. No, that is making the round. No more $900. Naira falls to lowest level in history against US dollar at black market. Naira has begun plunge to new lows on the parallel market, causing more headaches for the new CBN team. It has been 2 weeks since lawmaker confirmed Yemi Cardozo led new CBN management team. The new team is expected to meet next week for their first monetary policy meeting, and is expected to create a clear direction for the forex market. And it talks about the fact that black market traders who spoke to some journalists confirmed that $1 was sold to Nigerians in search for foreign currencies for 1,040 naira. That equivalent to $1. Now this represents 20 naira or 1.96% depreciation compared to Tuesday exchange rate of 1,020 naira. Mahmoud Yusuf, BDC operator, said. Also, Abubakar Mohammed, Chief Executive Officer of the Forward Marketing Bureau, the Shanj Limited, which compiles data on the informal market, said Naira was sold at $1,035 per dollar, reports Bloomberg. It was also a similar story in peer-to-peer market used mainly by fintechs and cryptocurrency traders, as the naira declined to 1,037 on Wednesday compared to 1,021 exchange a day earlier. And it's quite a worrying trend there. The depreciation also occurred in the foreign exchange market, official investors and exporters segment. Now, data from the FMDQ security show that naira at the INE window fell slightly to 776.80 naira per dollar on Wednesday, down from 775.83 per dollar exchange rate reported the previous day. This decline happened because forex transaction on Wednesday amounted to only $29.06 million, making the lowest level in recent history and indicating the supply challenges that Nigeria is facing. But the CBN has defended naira with over $5 billion in 6 months. In a similar report, CBN sold over $5 billion to maintain naira stability in the foreign exchange market in the first 6 months. The Apex Bank intervention was carried out at the Interbank Secondary Market Intervention Sales, that's SMIS window. The Apex Bank interventions have contributed to a decline in Nigeria's foreign reserves to $33 billion. Well, listeners, it's all coming away from Starr Radio. What do you think? Have you gone to change some money? And how has that panned out for you? Well. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, but in relation to economic challenges that African countries are seeing, and Nigeria is seeing, Ghana is seeing, I don't know about Benin and Togo and all, Cameroon and all the countries, neighboring countries are seeing at the moment. Obasanjo is advising that leaders have to find homegrown solutions to the continent's problem. Now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday charged African leaders to find homegrown solutions to the myriad of problems confronting the continent. Now, Obasanjo stated that this while addressing a delegation of students and youth across African countries at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, that's OOP Abeokuta in Ogun State. The delegation, which included students, leaders from Ethiopia and Tigray region, was led by the president of All Africa Students Union, Asu Osishogu Osikenye. Now, the students were on a thank you visit to Obasanjo for facilitating the permanent cessation of hostilities agreement between the government of Ethiopia and Tigray People Liberation Front, the TPLF, in Pretoria in 2022. The former president, who said it was important for Africa to consider the peculiarities of its people in designing and implementing workable homegrown solutions to the problem confronting the continent, said no problem in Africa is too great for us to solve. But people will ask you, is that true or not? It is a great lesson for us to know that yes, whatever we may be our problem, political, economical, social in Africa, we can solve them if we go about seeking solution rightly. What is very important, and which I want you to take very seriously, is that we are able to achieve integrity between TPLF and the government of Ethiopia. Is what you and I will regard as finding African solutions to African problems. This is what our leaders have been clamoring for, even from independence in the early 1960s. So no problem in Africa is too great for us to solve. So what is the way forward? How do we solve that? Are we going to be bringing all the heads of the various central banks and heads of economic policy in our country to be meeting as a continent, and then trying to find a way forward? Do we say we have to learn how to negotiate properly so that when somebody's come to buy something from us, we are able, or trading amongst ourselves, so that we are able to? But when Gaddafi came out with this, saying that, look, the financial problem that we are facing, so when it comes to investing and everything, I've got a solution to it. What I'm going to be doing is, this time round, we are not going to go to the West or the developed countries and to say we're going to, but as a country, yes, we are going to have a fund, a bank, and then we can go to that bank and get the monies, the loans for ourselves. And what happened? Need I say more? I rest my case. Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Tinubu certificate saga, stop insulting Nigerians, Igbo group slams Peter Obi. Now, an Igbo socio-political group, the Omale Gweku Progressive Initiative, has berated the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, over his comments on President Bola Tinubu. The group advised the former governor of Anambra State to stop fooling himself and insulting Nigerians by challenging President Tinubu to come clean on his identity. Now, the global president of the group, Ambassador Ginika Tor, stated that at a news briefing on Wednesday in Abuja while reacting to the press conference earlier granted by Peter Obi. Now, Tor, commissioner with the Federal Character Commission, said that the president owes Nigeria is to take them to the destination. What the president owes Nigeria is to take them to the destination of progress and development, and not speak on things that do not matter. So, was it last week when Olayomi Koiki showed me there was this video that was on YouTube, and the person was saying it's a joke, it's a joke, it's not a real thing, and the person saying that he had been to an interview and thinking that he was going to get a job, and then, or whether he was in the job, and then his employers, whether the boss man has come out to say that, look, I called you, Mr. So and so and so, so we think that your certificate is not, it's a fake one, blah 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 blah, and the guy said, oh, I'm so you are fired. He said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I can tell you that there are top Nigerian, surgeons and some big hooks that I met that were having a chat, and they were saying that that is not a good thing or a good picture to portray of the country when their leader himself is said to some way somehow to have caused perjury. Is it when we have somebody who is hungry and a person comes to your farm and cuts your plantain or banana, a bunch, and run away, and he's caught? Why do they sentence them? Listen, this person is desperate. This person needs food to eat. But why do they sentence, bring them before the court, and the court, they will have the judges who will sentence, or the magistrate who will sentence them like there's no tomorrow? Why do they do that? Because if they don't do that, that becomes a yardstick for some case in the future. So somebody can refer to that and say because this happened in that, that's how the law works. That's how law works. So somebody can come to tell you that, well, if I submitted a certificate to maybe is it NPC, and then I'm supposed to be maybe let's say the league the media person for them, okay? They come to tell me that, well, they won't go give me that position. I can tell them that no, the president himself has some sort of some forgery, something, but he was allowed to still. So it is not wrong for him to say. I mean, they want, it's because of what has happened. So that's why I was asking the question: do Nigerians draw a line under the whole thing and say that, you know what, we know that perjury has been caused. However, because he is doing a good work, let's look at that good work and let's all just move on. But that, how is it going to be faring in the sight of the international community? Professor Lumumba says, he's our thief. We love our thief. Leave him alone. Is that what is happening? Well. So, Anjana Didaji, massive good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, 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 very well. And it's lovely to have you on as well. But wherever you are, listeners, don't you go away. Update from Nigeria coming your way. You lack power to ban mining activities in your states, Alake tells governors. Now, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has declared that governors do not have the constitutional power to ban mining activities in their various states. Alake made the statement during a pre-event press conference in Abuja ahead of the 8th edition of the annual Nigerian Mining Week 2023, slated for October 16, 2023 in Abuja. He pointed out that the governors know that mining remains exclusively for the federal government in the constitution. Hence, it is not under the purview of a state governor as far as enactment of laws are concerned and regulations of operations of solid minerals are concerned. Therefore, the minister cautioned state governors to desist from taking laws into their own hands to regulate the sector and said it is illegal to do so, which also they are not constitutionally empowered to regulate oil and gas activities. Interesting, isn't it? Now, let's try to digress it a bit, or break it down a bit. Dissect, not digress. Now, so when it happens that in Ghana there is something that's going on, illegal mining. They call it galamsey. And what is happening there is that people encroach on any land. They have whatever dealings with any chief or something. They give them a portion of the land, or the people can go into the forest, reserves or whatever, and take earth moving machines there, dig, mine, ruin water bodies, and cause a lot of. I mean, if you look at the environmental degradation that has taken place, you ask yourself, whoa. So does it mean to say that if in your community, okay, in your state, a governor is seeing these illegal activities going on, they don't have the right to tell the people you can't do that? But I will have to go to the federal government. That would be quite interesting. And in a case where when it comes to oil or crude oil, and the people are virgin, and then we have the situation where there is like what happens, be quiet for degradation to take place, and then what do? It's quite interesting. But I hope that if they are saying that, then on the grounds in every state they will have an office that is saying to regulate and making sure that people's farms and people's lands are not encroached upon and not destroyed, because somehow someone has gone to get some certificate, whether it's fake or genuine. Well, interesting certificate, Abby. I Starr already. Okay. Well, the DSS. Sad one there, but some people will be jubilating about it as well. But I don't think taking the laws into your hand is the right thing to do, though. Now, court has convicted 2 men for killing DSS operatives in Ikorodu. What happened? A Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja yesterday convicted 2 pipeline vandals, Clement Ododumu and Tiwe Monday, for conspiracy and murder of 7 officers of Department of State Security at Ishawo Creek of Ikorodu area on September 14, 2015. Now, a trial judge, Hakim Oshodi, in his judgment, found the 2 accused guilty but deferred their sentencing to November 14. After hearing the plea of the convicts, the court found the first defendant, Ododumu, guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, possession of firearms, and felony, while the second defendant, Monday, was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and felony. The state government said the trouble started on September 14, 2015, when the DSS office received a distress report from an editor of the Sun newspaper about the kidnap of his wife at their residence. The command immediately dispatched a 9-man team to carry out a surveillance operation to ascertain the location of the kidnappers that were negotiating for a ransom. However, in the evening, one of them, the team members, Mr. Martin Ajayi, sent a distress text message to the station saying they had been ambushed by vandals who had seized their weapons. The 2 suspects were thereafter arrested and arraigned on a 10-count charge bordering on murder for possession of firearms contrary to section 223 and 298 of the criminal law, Captain C, volume 3, Laws of Lagos State 2015. They pleaded not guilty to all the counts and the prosecution began trial. Okay, so listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The final story from Nigeria, and then you can bring that update to close there. Now, how many of you have got your kids, or how many of you listening to us have enrolled to go to the university, various universities in Nigeria? ASU is opposing inclusion of private varsities as beneficiary. Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sonny Ekono, yesterday lamented interference by politicians in recruitment of staff into tertiary institutions. This came as Academic Staff Union of Universities declared that without intervention by the TET Fund, Nigeria's higher institution could have become glorified secondary schools. Now, Ekono spoke during an interactive program with the leadership of both ASU and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities on emerging issues regarding TET Fund as intervention in Abuja. He was responding to a complaint by SANU President Ibrahim Mohammed over alleged marginalization of non-academic staff in TET Fund intervention. Mohammed also faulted the process of recruiting staff in universities, lamenting that vice chancellors had to pass through the head of service of the Federation Ministries, the budget office, and others before getting approval. He calls for removal of such bureaucratic bottlenecks and appeal to TET Fund to extend its intervention to non-academic staff. Ekono explained, "We must restore discipline in the system, and the same will apply to recruitment. I can assure you that more than 70% of these so-called recruitments are based on politicians' requests, and that is why they are not bringing academic staff that will contribute to growth. They are just putting on the payroll people that have little or nothing to offer." That is bad. Because you want to employ people to academia, you want people to be lecturers, you want people to be holding various positions in universities. You want them to be up to scratch, that they qualify, and not only having certificates, but they are able to deliver. So when we don't see that, and we see all these things that is going on, then you ask yourself the question, what exactly, I don't want to use some words there, is going on there? And how can we actually move on from there? It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let me bring you this one as well. Let me see whether it's opening that one for me. Well, the certificate issue, well, some are thinking that people are dragging Nigeria's name in the mud. But some will also tell you that there is no smoke without fire. Okay? The Patriotic Elders Forum of Nigeria has advised politicians to treat the issue of President Ahmad Bola Tinubu certificate with care, believing that what they are doing is a huge damage to the nation's integrity. Now, what about the perjury that the president is alleged to have caused? Now, they said continuing attacks and war of words between Tinubu supporters and those of the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar over the issue is nothing but dragging Nigeria in the mud. The elders rising from an immediate meeting in Kano on Thursday reminded the politicians that no matter what, President Tinubu is still the president of Nigeria, and attacking his integrity is nothing but a complete attack on the integrity of the nation. But as I said, he who goes to equity must go with a clean hand, right? Okay, the president of the Elders Forum, Dr. Baturi Abdul Aziz, said, while speaking to newsmen through a communique, that gradually the certificate matter is building tribal and regional problems capable of causing disaffection among citizens. We need to treat this matter with utmost care and respect to the very person we are talking about, who is still the president. It will be good if the court of law are allowed to do their jobs without allowing for public persecution, he said. Now, politicians should know that Nigeria should be seen to rise above board when there is an issue that might touch on the integrity of the nation, just like the certificate issue. So, what do we do? What is the way forward? Do we just let things go or let things slide? Or what do you think should we got to do there? But listeners, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And this is where I bring the updates from Nigeria to a close.
This is Starr Radio UK.
We'll take a commercial break and I'll bring you some music and we'll continue with the show. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial. It is me, Archie, and you listening to me or watching me there, and we're having a good time, aren't we? But if you have any comments, feel free. You can post it on our platform and I'm gonna read them out. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Give gorilla
listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Don't you worry, I'll bring you some more music during the course of the program as well. But at the moment, 14 minutes to the top of the hour, 14 minutes to 12 the time. And we're going to be moving on to other issues happening on the continent as well. But, well, the dollar to naira rate, but Bishop Adesina told us, I remember, I said that we've not seen nothing yet. So is Bishop's prediction coming through, or maybe the central bank governor is going to be able to do something? He just come into office, so maybe he'll be able to crack some miracle there. But what do you think about all that? Well. And what do you think about the certificate issue? The way the politicians are going about it, is it bringing Nigeria's reputation into disrepute? What do you think there? Let me hear from you as well. So coming away from Star Radio UK. All right then, if you have any other comments pertaining to any other stories that we touched on as well, feel free and share it with us. As and when I have any more stories coming away from there, I'm going to be bringing that your way. And the statement that was made by Obasanjo, the former president, that African continent or African leaders might look inwards for their own solutions to what is happening to them. And isn't that the way forward? Homegrown policies. I remember back in the day, the former president of Ghana, what is his name? John Mahama, when Ghana was facing some tumultuous time when it came to the economy, I remember the Senche Convention or concession, whatever happened there, and they came out with some homegrown policies. Then we had the finance minister, Setepe, and they met, and then they came out with some homegrown policies, and that is what, I mean, some way prepared the grounds for the MPP to come in and somehow let me put it out with whatever they inherited, that they had that ground to run with it. And then after that, everything went pear-shaped again. And then they've gone to the IMF as well for everything that's happening, and there's lots. But the question is, how can we get a homegrown or develop a homegrown policy that actually meets the needs of the people, and that we can see our own people actually saying that, look, I can see that 2 years on, I have my life or my wealth has been improved some way, somehow. Maybe I can say from maybe not a huge margin, but I can see a marginal gain there. It's all coming your way from your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But one other story that my producers said that we were supposed to have used, let me bring that your way before we move from Nigeria. Next, extortion scandal. Weeks after resuming from recess, reps silent on probe vow. The House of Representatives vowed in September to launch a probe into the activities of one of its investigative ad hoc committee after a Premium Times investigation revealed that the committee was extorting and receiving bribes from the government institution it was investigating. That is a below the belt dealings there. Now, after several weeks of vowing to launch a probe into the activities of its ad hoc committee accused of corruption, the House of Representatives have kept mum or yet to take any steps on the matter. Following a painstaking investigation by Premium Times between August and September, published a series of reports exposing how members of the House ad hoc committee set up to probe job racketeering of intimidating and extorting ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government under the guise of investigating corruption in recruitment of personnel. So is it the same thing that they're trying to be spewing when it comes to the universities thing there? The report revealed how the unscrupulous panel set up a sophisticated bribery scheme using the unregulated Bureau de Change system to receive bribes from the heads of MDAs in the exchange for a soft landing. Now, during the investigation, this paper secured evidence on the scandal, revealing a direct link to the committee, specifically Oluwole, the PDP Oshun, who coordinated the bribery scheme. The reports provided the bank account used and the name of the BDC outlet. Furthermore, the bribery story was corroborated by the owner of the BDC, Abubakar Sambo, who confirmed that indeed the lawmaker deceived him to use his outfit to move illicit funds. Before the publication of the report, Premium Times had contacted the house through its spokesperson, Akin Rotimi, for reaction. He asked his paper to help with evidence, but we urge him to read the reports to get all the evidence from the house to launch an investigation. He therefore promised that the lower chamber will commence the investigation as soon as evidence was provided. But the least that you can do for me is the phone number that sent the account number and the account number. What you are doing, both of us, is in the interest of Nigeria people, you guys in the media, and for those of us in the house. To aid our own investigation, I'm going to take it up with the leadership of the house and the chairman of the committee, Mr. Rotimi said at the time. But as of now, they've resumed and there have not been any statement pertaining to that. What do you think about all that? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, on the African continent as well, still there, Gabon, wife of deposed President Ali Bongo, has been jailed. That was a swift one, isn't it? Now, Franco-Gabonese wife of Gabon's ex-president Ali Bongo Ondimba, Sylvia Bongo Ondimba Valentin, under house arrest since a military coup at the end of August for alleged embezzlement of public funds, has been jailed, her lawyer said on Thursday. I can confirm this, replied her French lawyer, Francois Zimeri, when questioned by the AFP about his client's incarceration late on Wednesday evening. He denounced an illegal and arbitrary procedure. According to Gabonese media reports, Mrs. Bongo was placed under a committal order at Libreville Central Prison late on Wednesday evening after a lengthy rehearing by an examining magistrate. Mrs. Bongo was charged on September 28 with money laundering and forgery and kept under house arrest in Libreville, as she had been since the first day following the August 30 push that overthrew her husband. The military, who overthrew her husband, accusing his entourage of rigging his re-election publicly, suspected the former first lady of having manipulated her husband, who was suffering from the after effects of serious stroke in 2018, and of having been alongside their son Nuruddin Bongo Valentin, the country de facto leader since then, and of having massively embezzled public funds. Nuruddin Bongo has been in prison since the first day of the coup, charged with corruption, embezzlement of funds. Well, are we going to have the French government coming to say that, you know what, he is our citizen, oh, my apologies, she is our citizen, and therefore we want her out? And how will that feel? Okay, so coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In DRC, 8 UN peacekeepers have been arrested for sexual exploitation. One officer has been suspended. The United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, announced on Wednesday that it has taken strong measures against peacekeepers suspected of serious misconduct. According to internal documents from MONUSCO, 8 peacekeepers deployed in Beni in the eastern DRC were arrested on October 1st, and an officer was suspended on October 8th as part of a case involving alleged sexual exploitation and violence. Now, all of them belong to the South African contingent of the UN force and may be implicated in what internal reports describe as systematic widespread violation of UN rules against exploitation and sexual abuse. The Office of Internal Oversight Services has been informed and interim measures have already been taken in line with the UN Secretary General Zero Tolerance Policy, MONUSCO stated on Wednesday in a press release. The measures taken include suspension, detention, and confinement of the concerned peacekeepers, added MONUSCO, which strongly condemns such behavior as being unworthy of United Nations personnel. In one of the documents, it is mentioned that Soweto, Bloemfontein, Cape Town, brothels with names evocative of South Africa cities and makeshift bars in front of the MONUSCO Mavivi base near Beni are used for transactional sexual relations. Now, the officer in question allegedly intimidated and verbally threatened UN personnel after the arrest of peacekeepers in a case involving visiting brothels, which resulted in an attempted escape of a brawl and a chase with elements of the UN military police. Now, since May, Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi has been calling on the South African Development Community, SADC, country including South Africa, to deploy in the DRC to support Congolese army against the M23 rebellion, which has seized large parts of the North Kivu province. The DRC government also demands an accelerated departure of the UN force starting from the December this year. It is accused that the force of not having been able to put an end to the violence by armed groups after 25 years presence. So when we do that and we chase the people out and they go away, and we still see worse scenarios. Now, these individuals who we're talking about here are still some of that's where they hail from, South Africa. Okay, so the fact that they're putting on a UN uniform doesn't change their character, does it? Does it? Okay. So if you say the UN forces should leave and that you want South Africa and SADC to, give you military assistance or to do so to fight the M25 insurgency in that part of the world, then what are you trying to do? The same people are going to be coming and then doing the same. Or is it because they are under the flag of the UN gives them the mandate to be able to, abuse sexually as taught from citizens there? Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In Burkina Faso, former President Thomas Sankara has been elevated to the rank of national hero. Burkina Faso transitional government decided on Wednesday to elevate former president and father of the Burkinabe Revolution, Thomas Sankara, killed on the 15th of October 1987 in a push to the rank of a hero of the nation. The Council of Ministers adopted a decree recognized the late Captain Isidore Thomas Noel Sankara as a hero of the nation. The minutes said the consecration of the status of hero of the nation to Thomas Sankara aims to perpetuate the cardinal values of which republic is founded, the government explained. Now, Thomas Sankara, a Pan-African icon who came to power in a coup in August 1983, was killed in 15th of October 1987 by his number two, Blaise Compaoré. That day, the Burkinabe president was meeting at the headquarters of his National Revolutionary Council when the commands of coup soldiers arrived and shot him and his companions dead. The status of hero of the nation was created in June 2022 to honor people who have distinguished themselves by their exceptional bravery in the defense of a national cause, of their exceptional and honorable prowess for the nation. After Mr. Sankara's death, Blaise Compaoré remained in power until a popular uprising led his downfall in 2014 as well. In April 2022, after a 6-month trial, the military court in Ouagadougou sentenced Mr. Compaoré, who lives in Cote d'Ivoire, in absentia to life imprisonment for his role in the assassination of Thomas Sankara. First buried in a cemetery on the outskirts of Ouagadougou, the bodies of Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions were exhumed on the 25th of May 2015 for the purpose of legal proceedings before being buried in the memorial erected on the very site of the assassination. A national and international ceremony to pay tribute to the victims will be organized on the 15th of October 2023. That is in 3 days time, to honor their memory, according to the government. The transitional president, Captain Ibrahim Traore, has regularly paid tribute to Thomas Sankara since his coming to power in a coup on 30th September 2022. So if he's singing his praise and trying to say things about him, then I'd rather he acts. He depicts what he was doing and try to channel that energy into making the people of Burkina Faso or Burkina Base better off in life, not behaving like some unruly leaders that we've seen on the continent. 1 minute after 12. Let me bring you this last story, and then we bring you, I'll open the lines, and then we can go to other parts of Africa as well. The UN regrets the order to expel its representative in Niger. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres deeply regrets the order to expel the UN coordinator in Niger given by the military regime, which will hinder humanitarian operations, his spokesperson said on Wednesday. The expulsion of Louise Aubin, requested within 72 hours by the regime resulting from a coup d'etat in July, will hinder the ability of the UN to fulfill its mandate and disrupt essential work in Niger, where 4.3 million people need humanitarian aid, mainly women and children, insisted Stéphane Dujarric, adding that this order was contrary to international rules applicable to the United Nations representatives. The regime in Niger on Wednesday ordered the UN coordinator in this country, Canadian Louise Aubin, to leave it within 3 days, denouncing in particular the obstruction of the United Nations to its international recognition. He had previously denounced the perfidious actions of Secretary General Antonio Guterres for, according to him, hindering the participation of the representatives of Niger in the event of and undermining any effort to end the crisis. Appointed to a position as coordinator in January 2021, Louise Aubin has exemplarily led the United Nations system in Niger to provide impartially and tirelessly humanitarian and development assistance in accordance with the development plan national, assured Stéphane Dujarric on Wednesday. The Secretary General reiterates the unwavering commitment of the United Nations to remain and act in the service of the people of Niger through the continuation of humanitarian and development operations, he added. Well, they want him out. So what can they do? Is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me open the lines. You want to join in 0208 133 2257. 0208 133 2257, or you can text or WhatsApp me 0753966174, 0753966174. Our Twitter handle is still our X handle is at Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. So whatever you do, don't you go away. All right then. Now let's crack on in Ghana. The Akufo-Addo I knew is not the one who is president now, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo has said. Why is he saying so? Has the president metamorphosed into something else, or what? Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, says President Akufo-Addo has disappointed Ghanaians woefully. According to him, the Nana Akufo-Addo he knew and dialogue with on issues of national interest is not the one who is president now. He insisted that President Akufo-Addo, who previously abhorred corruption, is now superintending over wanton corruption and nepotism. The former GFA president, speaking at a press conference organized by ex-military officer on the topic The State of Ghana Today on Wednesday, October 11, asked President to be up and doing. Now, these are critical warning signs going to destroy the security of the state. We need to pay critical attention to this. The Akufo-Addo I knew and had numerous dialogues and demonstrations with. It's not the Akufo-Addo who is now president, quote unquote, he said. He also commended the appointees of the government who are said to be stashing you. Okay, not commended. He condemned in uncertain terms the appointees of government who are said to be stashing huge sums of money in their homes. Dr. Nyawo added that if this is not addressed immediately, it will lead to a spillover. According to him, the youth are not happy with the current happenings in the country, and their concerns cannot be ignored. In the old age of ours, we don't sleep soundly at night. Ghana has been riddled with perceived corruption of political public office holders, amassing unexplained wealth, tribalism, nepotism, parochial in their interests, especially under the regime under President Akufo-Addo. How do ministers hold statues of cash in foreign and local currencies in their homes, acquire properties in prime areas of Accra and other parts of the country, drive the most luxurious cars, and live extravagantly, and expect our youth, who remain largely without meaningful employment, to be satisfied? Meanwhile, the MPP founding member also asked the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison to heed the demands of minority in Parliament and resign. According to him, his continuous stay in office does not mean well for the central bank. We have noticed with grave concern the clear disrespect shown by the governor of the Bank of Ghana to protesters led by the minority in Parliament and many aggrieved Ghanaians. It cannot be true that the Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstrations were solely on a political agenda when they were joined in the march by other well-meaning Ghanaians to show their indignation against actions taken that have led to losses to the taxpayer. And we say it's okay. Now, incompetence and inefficiencies should not be condoned in public office. As far as the output of such offices impoverishes ordinary Ghanaians, if you can't do the work, resign. It is that simple. Interesting. But what do you think about that? I bet you cronies and supporters of the ruling party will come bashing at him. But he's one of the founding fathers of the MPP. Dr. Nyawo Tamaklo. But well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I was trying to bring you one other story before we move on from there. I was trying to bring you some of the statements that had been made from the inquiry that was looking at the plot to oust the IGP, but it doesn't seem to be coming up. Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 10 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. My apologies for pausing in there, but let's go straight on to some of the other stories that is making the rounds this morning before we bring the program to a close. Now let's move on straight with some other stories that's still making the rounds in Ghana. As I did say, let's touch on that briefly, and then we will move on from there. So now, what is happening when it comes to some of the other stories that is making the rounds here now? The Galamsey case that seems to be going on in Ghana at the moment pertaining to Aisha Wan. The judgment is supposed to be pronounced on the 4th of December. It's one of the stories making the rounds there. We'll be looking into that in a moment. But interestingly, the High Court in Accra Financial and Economic Division has struck out an application for interlocutory injunction against the organizers of the already staged Occupy Bank of Ghana protest. This was after the police applicants withdrew the application, which had become moot after they said the event had already taken place peacefully. On Wednesday, October 11, Principal State Attorney George Teresaki told the court that the demonstration had already taken place and we wish to withdraw the application. He added that the demonstration was peaceful when asked by the court of the outcome. Now, Justice Edward Chum consequently struck out the application as withdrawn. Now, prior to October 3, a protest dubbed hashtag Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstrations, which was to demand the resignation of the governor, Dr. N.S. Addison, and his deputies. The police raised concerns about the route of the protest. The exercise also geared towards registering their concerns over the central bank's record of 60 billion loss in the 2022 financial year. But after fought and back and the police failure to properly effect service of the injunction application on the respondent, the protest went on October 3, despite the case pending in court. The minority in parliament, led by Dr. Kessel Atuforsen and Arise Ghana Bernard Momo, Rex Omar, and Masahudu Mohammed, are the respondents in the matter. But I talk about this all the time, and I'm saying that, well, if care is not taken, something is going to happen that will not be good for the country at all. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on to other parts of the world as well. Now, the Poland election is going to be taking place, but there's bitter campaign split country ahead of the key vote in the old Lenin shipyard in Nyask, where striking workers were once the catalyst for major political change. Young Poles now debate how to protect democracy in their country. They worry that the rights and freedoms won by the Solidarity movement over 3 decades ago are at risk. The ruling right-wing Law and Justice Party, or PIS, campaigns to secure a record third term in office. It is very important election. It is a very important election. We're deciding whether we're going to back or we're going back to being a democratic country. What's student activist Julia Landowska's take on this weekend's vote. That is our last call to go to the election and fight for a better future in Poland. The event she helped organize was held under the slogan, "In my day, things will be better." A mixture of discussions and live music topped off with a silent disco. It was designed to encourage reluctant younger voters to the polls. The activists' worries are echoed by others in Nansk, who point to the shrinking independence of the court under a PIS government and backsliding on women's rights, including a near total ban on abortion. There is also concerns about media freedom, publicly funded TV becoming a government mouthpiece, as well as acrimonious wrangling with Brussels on issues from judicial reforms to migration. Listeners at Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing you other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. I am Archie. In the US, Republicans have picked Steve Scalise as their choice to be the new Speaker of the House of Representatives after a secret vote. He beat the other candidate, Jim Jordan, by 111 votes to 99 in a closed-door party meeting at the U.S. Capitol. The Speaker is one of the most important posts in U.S. government and runs the lower chamber of Congress. There will now be a vote of the full House, where a simple majority of votes, that's 217, is required to win the job. The House was adjourned on Wednesday evening as Mr. Scalise scrambled to find enough votes to win an outright majority. It is unclear when the House will be called back for a floor vote, with acting Speaker Patrick McHenry saying, "We'll see when asked." Mr. McHenry said Mr. Scalise has the right to put his votes together for the floor and make sure the timing is right. We're going to let that happen. Kevin McCarthy was ousted from the position after some right-wing party members revolted and removed him, a move unprecedented in U.S. politics. Speaking to reporters after the secret vote, Mr. Scalise said the filling the speaker role was vital in an increasingly dangerous world. We need to make sure we send in a message that the House is open, he said. On the Democrat side, representatives will put forth New York's Hakeem Jeffries as their candidate for the speaker position. But as the minority party, their choice of speaker has little chance of reaching the magic number of 217. The Republican Party has been plagued by infighting in recent weeks and seemed unable to reach an agreement on Mr. McCarthy's replacement. And this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. That is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And thank you very much to each and every one of you who has joined us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you might be. It is your favorite. Now, a final one before we come to the UK front. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said every Hamas member was a dead man after the first meeting of his country's emergency government. Alongside him, opposition figure Benny Gantz said it was a time for war. But U.S. President Joe Biden said he has spoken to Mr. Netanyahu and made it clear that Israel must operate by the rules of the war. The death toll in Israel has reached 1,200, more than 1,100 people have been killed by Israel airstrikes in Gaza. Mr. Biden said he understood the anger and frustration of the Israeli people, but urged Israel to adhere to the principles of the Geneva Convention. He also warned Iran, which has welcomed the Hamas attack, to be careful. Earlier on Wednesday, Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Gantz agreed to put aside a bitter political rivalry that had escalated into widespread protest. Mr. Gantz told Israeli citizens that the newly formed government was united and ready to wipe this thing called Hamas off the face of the earth. Now, alongside Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Gantz, the centrist National Unity Party leader and former defense minister, the new temporary cabinet will also include Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The country's main opposition leader, Yair Lapid, has not joined the alliance. However, Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Gantz said it is a joint statement that a seat will be reserved for him in the war cabinet. During the war period, no bills or government decisions will be promoted that do not concern the conduct of the war, said a statement. All senior appointments will be automatically extended during the war period. Okay, so that seems to be what is happening there. But it is Starr Radio UK bringing or coming closely home now. Anti-Semitic incidents have quadrupled in UK since the Hamas attack. And the story says anti-Semitic incidents in the UK have more than quadrupled since Hamas attack on Israel, says a charity which helps Jewish people in the UK. The Community Security Trust recorded 89 anti-Jewish hate incidents from 7th to the 10th of October. That marked more than four-fold rise on the 21 anti-Semitic incidents recorded in the same period last year. The Security Minister Tom Tugendhat said he was very concerned at a report of an increase in anti-Semitism. The CST says 6 of the 89 incidents recorded were assaults, 3 referred to damage to Jewish property, and 66 were related to abusive behavior, 22 of which happened online. In examples of incidents given by the group, a Jewish person walking to a synagogue in London on Sunday morning was called a dirty Jew by a stranger who said, "No wonder you're getting raped." Now, also in London, a car slowed down outside a synagogue before the occupant of the vehicle shouted, "Kill Jews!" and death to Israel while waving a Palestinian flag. The CST said, "Make no mistake, these are anti-Jewish racist incidents and hate crimes in which Jewish people, property and institutions are singled out for hate, including death, threats, and abuse. In many cases, the perpetrators of these disgraceful incidents are using the symbols and language of pro-Palestinian politics as rhetorical weapons with which to threaten and abuse Jewish people." Hamas began its assault on Israel on Saturday, killing hundreds and taking up to 150 people hostage. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Stay tuned, don't you go away whilst I try to bring you the rest of the stories that is making the rounds, and then we can bring the program to a close. All right then. Now, Benny Ecclestone has pleaded guilty to fraud. Now, Benny Ecclestone, the former boss of Formula One, has been given a suspended sentence after pleading guilty to fraud. The 92-year-old did not declare more than £400 million held in a trust in Singapore when asked by tax authorities in 2015. Ecclestone has agreed in a civil settlement to repay almost £653 million to HM Revenues and Customs, a court head. He was sentenced to 17 months in prison, suspended for 2 years. Now, the billionaire had originally been due to stand trial next month after initially pleading not guilty. The court head how the investigation began when Ecclestone approached HMRC in July 2015 seeking to withdraw a line under investigation into his tax affairs because he was fed up of paying huge bills for advice. At the time, he declared he had only one trust which was established on behalf of his daughters. According to the chart, he told the HMRC he was not settlor nor beneficiary of any trust in or outside the UK. But following an investigation which HMRC has previously described as complex and worldwide, that answer proved to be inaccurate. Ecclestone arrived at Southwark Crown Court with his wife Fabiana and spoke only to the judge. "I plead guilty and confirmed basic details." He appeared frail as he rose to address the judge in court. His legal team argued that the former F1 boss should not face a prison term owing to his advanced age, medical issues, and low level of risk to the public. Defending Ecclestone, Christine Montgomery, said the defendant bitterly regrets the events that led to this criminal trial. Well, he's going to be paying $630 million. Well, so he's cool, isn't he? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And then the final story, this pertains to Keir Starmer. "I won't build homes without GPs and schools." schools. Now, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has promised he will not allow her new homes to be built without providing infrastructure such as GPs and schools. He likened the current situation to the Wild West, where developers decide where things are going to go and infrastructure never catches up. Earlier this week, Sir Keir Starmer said he will bulldoze through planning rules in order to build 1.5 million homes. The Conservative said Labour's record on house building has been atrocious. Now, Housing Minister Rachel McLean said Labour has failed to build enough homes in places where they are in power in power, such as London and Wales. She also accused the party of blocking house building by voting against relaxing water polluting rules. Now, on Tuesday, Sir Keir used his speech to Labour's annual conference to promise to create the next generation of new towns near English cities. He said he wanted to speed up building on unused urban lands such as disused car parks and dreary wasteland. However, during a series of interviews with BBC local stations, he was pressed on concerns about accelerated house building. Well, listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. Tomorrow, God willing, we're going to be coming your way once again with another edition of the morning show. This evening, we'll be having KB Bossman coming your way with the property hour. But before we go, we take this commercial break and I bring you another commercial announcement, a visual one, and then we bring the program to a close. So stay tuned, don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.